Stretch. So there's one
Mhm.
interesting thing that I found out about you talking to the
Mhm.
homie young KT, right? So this is like probably
Mhm.
15 years back, 20 years back.
Mhm.
So he was like, "Yeah, Stretch was in calculus." I'm like, "Say what?"
Yeah.
He was in calculus. I'm like, "This nigga's a genius,
Mhm.
right?" Because like,
Yeah.
if you ask me and T, like
Mhm.
my first introduction to you. So you remember at
Mhm.
my during the the voting for like student class president and all that shit.
Yeah.
And when you came out and you hit the two big balloons,
Mhm.
he was like, and you can feel it. Sweat from my balls, cause
Oh,
that
I
was
don't even remember
oh yeah,
I
Kev.
was
that.
like,
Wow.
I was like,
How
yeah,
the
this
fuck
nigga's a
you
fool.
remember
Cause
that, Kev?
I was like, this nigga's a fool. So then hearing Carl tell me the story, like, yeah, he
Mhm.
was in calculus. So to get to that, so
Mhm.
using mathematics, how do you think that helped propel you in music as far as like budget and
Oh, well, I mean, early on in school, it hurt me a lot, but it helped me long term because, like, in math, I was so good. Like, I went to Manzanita, but back then we didn't even have a cafeteria, so we would get our lunch from King. So we'd already deal with King. By the time I got to fourth grade, I would also go to King to do math because I was, what I'm saying, so far ahead.
Mhm.
But when I got to high school, when you think just a nigga think you know everything. The fucked up thing for me was I figured out how many credits I needed to graduate and what I didn't need to do. So I graduated with a 1.66, and my freshman year I had a 0.50 grade point average. The first quarters I had all F's and a B, and because I was so good at math, I was a typical Seaside nigga that knew too much. So I knew the minimum I had to do to graduate. You know what I'm saying? So instead of using the smarts that I had to actually learn more, I use my ability to understand attendance and all this other shit to do the bare minimum because I had it figured out. I need to have a 2.0 during basketball season. The rest of the year, I can only get so many Fs and I have to do all of this shit. So it's, in retrospect, you know what I'm saying? I think that it helped me a lot when I got to where I am now, but there was a lot of early years where I think understanding things different than the people that are older than you or the teachers kind of fucked me up. I'm gonna keep it real, kind of fucked me up because I was just too smart for my own good, I think.
Yep, that's what's up.
But now it's great because there's lots of situations, especially being a nigga, because a lot of rooms that I'm in, I'm still a nigga. So it's like, people think that they can get over on you on certain things. And the one thing that does not change is numbers. You know what I'm saying? So there's not I think that I've gotten to where I am because of me being able to understand things in a different way. I think I'm one of the few people, period, in the industry that can talk to a nigga in the hood and somebody at the top of the boardroom and even the people in the accounting room. So that's been my talent because most of the people who I deal with, they would not think they think I'm a square ass nigga that went to college and did all this, you know what I'm saying, did all this other shit. A lot of street niggas that I know from before really don't even understand like what I do or, what I'm saying, what's going on because it's probably not comprehensible because we come from the same place. And shit, if you see me your whole life doing the same shit that you was doing, it's kind of hard to understand like where I'm at and what I'm doing now, I would say.
So how do you and Mozzie get a good relationship? He's a street nigga, you're a street nigga. How was that conversation?
Well, I met Mozzie through Jay Valentine. Jay Valentine was dealing with him, and he was going to manage him, and he needed somebody to help because he wanted somebody that was a little bit more street. With us, it worked so well because especially early on, there would be a lot of traveling, and Mozzie's the type of nigga where he's going to the hood, he's doing all this shit, and he fucked with me so much because I wasn't scared and I wasn't afraid. But I've been doing shit in the streets for so long. The one thing I understand is it runs off of respect. If I'm not disrespecting nobody, I'm probably not a threat. Ain't nobody really tripping. So I have no problem going to certain places. I've been in places where literally it's nigga 200 bloods, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm respectable enough to not say cuz, but you also know exactly where I'm from. So people just respect that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we hit it off so much just because of me understanding him, because early on it's hard for him to trust people, because if you're not from a certain element or a certain type of lifestyle, you can't really work with somebody who is, because you're not going to understand what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? If you're not been in certain situations, you're not going to understand it. So you're not going to look through the certain politics. You're not going to take other precautions about who's wearing all these other things. So that's why I think we just hooked off. I think real niggas fucking real niggas, honestly.
So like I'm saying, like his vibe when you first met him, it was all good. Y'all already vibe right along, or did it take a long time to vibe with him?
Nah, we right. The thing about him is he's really, really, really smart, but he plays it off. So
yeah,
when I first met him, it was kind of like I could see exactly, you know what I'm saying, what he is and how he's doing. And just, you know, you have conversations. And also being from Seaside, people know mutual people. So he knows people who I know. People I didn't get along with, he might have known. So one thing that I can say that I've learned from life is some of my biggest endorsements are people who I had issues with. Because if you my partner and you say, what's that nigga like? And they like, oh man, that nigga, you ain't gonna believe it. But if a nigga say, I don't fuck with that nigga, or we had our issues, but that nigga ain't this or that nigga ain't that, then it's a different mutual, it's a level of respect. And luckily for me, everybody I've had problems with, we're all cool now. So, you know, they can say those things without feeling as if like, you know, you look like a punk or something like that. Because for a long period of time, our city was fucked up for bullshit for no reason. And we all was just down a bad path doing dumb shit. But luckily, you know what I'm saying, at least to where it's at between the black folks, we've all come back together and realized we was tripping.
True. Hey, quick question. Do you miss the different, I'm sorry, do you miss the different genres of rap music? So like growing up, you had like your Public Enemy, and then you had Hammer, you had Kid and Play, you had like gangster rap. Do you think that's what's missing in the rap genre today?
No, I think it's all there. I think that we're just bombarded with so much it gets lost. Because like right now, think about this. It's like when I was a kid, if there was one new rap album that week, that was cool. Now 10 things come out a week, and it's kind of hard for you to keep up and catch up with everything. Like there's just so much product. There's so many movies, there's so many damn CDs, there's so many albums, there's just so much that we're consuming that I think it's all there. It's just really hard to find it. And there's no more gatekeeping, when before it was like, well, these are the 5 albums you need to listen to. So if Public Enemy is on Def Jam, then you for sure are going to hear it. You know what I mean? Now it's like the shit you might be listening to might be a nigga who just put it out from their living room. So I think that there's way more variety. It's just get to a point where it's too much. It's like with cable. When cable got to a couple hundred channels, you end up only watching 4, because you're like, I ain't finna go through all this shit, because I'm gonna spend all day trying to find something to watch. End up watching.
Yeah,
for sure.
Way too many options.
Quick question to add to that, Stretch. So you said on the History of the Bay podcast, you was talking about SOB, the RBE. They recorded that album in their, you said, garage?
Yes, every song on that first project was done when I met them, and I helped them put the project together. But those songs was already recorded. Most of the videos was already shot. They did that themselves. So that makes it tough for me when somebody from Seaside like, man, how come you can't do this? How come you can't do that? When I meet some kids from Vallejo that have nothing, like they did this themselves. When I say they did this themselves, they literally did this themselves. The dude that did the anti beat, they got that off of YouTube from a nigga from he was from Sweden or Finland. A dude from another country who they never met before, but that's where they got their beats from, because somebody in the neighborhood didn't have them. So they went to the internet and got the beats. Once I started working with them, we ended up clearing and doing all this other shit. But they shot the videos themselves. They uploaded the videos themselves. They did that. They did everything themselves. And the oldest person was 19. The youngest one was 16. So for me to see anything different, and it's like, man, how can I say that, hey man, you're really working hard, when I'm seeing these kids who don't have shit? They was broke as fuck, but they was still doing what they was doing because they cared about the music. And I think that that's the thing that's missing, when a lot of people that, especially from Seaside, when like, oh, how come you don't do this? How can we do that? It's like, man, I'm seeing niggas outworking you, period.
And that ain't just from Seaside, man, because I remember when you were speaking about, seeing Seaside niggas in random places. I remember Stretch came up to Ashland, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, when you guys did that show at the Armory,
oh yeah,
I forgot who was that. It was somebody from Thiz, but and then I was working with them dudes from that area too, and they was like, "Oh, Stretch, Stretch. Hey, put us on." And I was telling them like right away, I was like, "Nah, bro, it don't work like that, man." I was like, "Bro, he ain't gonna just be like, oh yeah, I got these niggas here, and they want you to listen to them." And he was like, put us on. He still to this day like, "Hey, hook me up a Stretch," and I was like, "Nigga, what you doing?" And like he's still rapping in Medford, so that's why I haven't said nothing. But yeah, I remember seeing Stretch in them random ass places. I was like, yeah, like, damn, that's crazy.
Hey, you got to go there. You can't say you popping in Oregon if you ain't been in Oregon.
Right.
That's what's up.
All right. So, hold on. So I don't know how far or what we can talk about though, but I want to say
we can talk about. I know how to navigate all conversations, so we can talk about anything.
All right. So I remember when we was little kids and we used to get stuff from you. And then
weed is legal. Weed is legal, so we can talk.
All right. So I remember we used to get the weed from you. We'd be like, "Hey, Stretch, let me get it one for 15, and I'll give you 20 later." Did you even care, nigga, when you was because I know there's a few times there, nigga, you let it slide a bunch of times, when me and Chris would be like, "Hey, Stretch, let me get one."
Well, I think, especially when anytime you're selling something, what's this important is making sure you keep the clientele. Because what's a couple dollars going to do when you lose a client? You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
One thing I've learned early on is like the customer is more important than the actual principal. Because I've seen a lot of people let principal fuck up their business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they go beat somebody up over a couple dollars they owed or some shit like that because of the principal. But that principal it's not gonna pay your bills, and you just lost the customer.
Yeah, you just put y'all in game right there.
Yeah. Now you can't get robbed, but if somebody's if somebody's take something from you, then I also believe you have to let people know you cannot take things from me. But if you know this nigga got a job and he fucked off his money, or even if the nigga's on dope and he fucked off his money, that don't help you whooping his ass. Like, come on.
Yes, it does. It sure does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Because it's one thing I believe. One thing I believe in is karma. I believe in karma, and I really believe in my heart of hearts. I've done a lot more good than bad, and I think that's why I've been through a lot of situations without, knock on wood, a lot of bad things happen that usually happen to people. You know what I'm saying, that do. But I think that we were raised wrong, straight up, 100%. You know what I'm saying? We were taught that if somebody does something to you, you can lash out in violence, which when you think about it is fucking crazy. If somebody disrespects you, you can lash out in violence.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. And we've all played basketball together. You know how many people I'd have punched in the mouth at the gym just because I felt they disrespected me. In retrospect, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. But I really felt for a long period of time because I think, especially the gym was a bad place for me because you're playing with people that don't really know you. So, niggas will say shit that's just anybody else is not going to say without knowing they're going to have to fight you. So the problem I would always have at the sports center is there'd be somebody saying some shit that does not realize that means we have to fight. But in retrospect, it's like, damn, we really didn't have to fight, man. You know what I'm saying? I probably could have let that go.
Calmer heads always prevail.
Yeah.
Man. So, all right, my bad. Anybody else? Byron, I know you've been quiet for too long. Kev, go ahead.
No, I'm just sitting back listening, man. I already answered all my questions already, and I gotta get back on my podcast stuff, to get the interview. So I'm gonna get back on it. You feel me?
Yeah.
How about you, Kenya?
No, I don't have any more questions. I'm just soaking up the game that he's giving. That's it. Networking. What do you think about that? Here I am talking. I don't have any more questions, but I think networking is a big thing. If you tie that back to the Seaside people, because I think they lack that. But just all around, just me thinking about the relationship that I built with some of the people that you've worked with, it's just flat out networking. It's kind of funny, and I have to defend myself because I am a woman, and it's not no funny business. But it's networking. If you put yourself in those rooms, then that's how I know all the same people that you do. Well, not all the same people, but the same people that you do. I don't rap, and I damn sure can't sing.
No, I think it's really important. One thing I would say about we don't appreciate where we was born and raised, because Seaside is one of the only places where you can come from a really like urban hood environment, but the one thing we have over everybody else is we have some sort of education and we talk normal. Like, you'd be amazed on, how many opportunities I got just because I speak proper English, which sounds crazy. You know what I'm saying? Which sounds crazy, but when you go to a lot of other places, accents and just dialect and just, the schooling system failed a lot of people. It didn't fail us. There's a lot of shit that might have been fucked up where we at, but I don't know too many people that just can't read. You know what I mean? Or just really is just that uneducated. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the one thing.
Too. All of our pronunciation.
Yeah, we pronounce words like I think we have the best English teachers. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these other niggas can't talk. So I think that's the one thing I would say. Being from Seaside has helped me, is just because of being able to talk. And number two, we was raised around so many different cultures, so we understand things differently. We understand Mexican culture, we understand Vietnamese culture, we understand Filipino culture, things that we don't even think about. We understand Italian culture. This is just things that just come normal to us, but we don't realize how segregated the rest of the world is, especially this country, and just how we're comfortable around everybody. When I know a lot of Black people who ain't comfortable with white people, who ain't comfortable with Hispanic people, and so on and so forth, because of just, the areas that they were ranked, that we have a huge advantage that we're not taking advantage of, because just the way we speak, the way we talk. Motherfucker, I used to think it was weird people say you sound white, but shit, I embrace that now.
Me too.
Definitely.
Me too. Me too.
Definitely.
I've had people think I was white over the phone, and I show up and they're looking for a white girl. I'm like, I can show you the message. I promise it was me that you were talking to. It's me.
Yeah, but I still will fuck you up.
Absolutely.
I want to add on Kenya's networking question. So, say if you did want to get out in front and meet these people and stuff like that, how do you actually do that? It's not just being able to call them. Do you have to know? Most of the time is you have to know somebody that knows somebody. But if like that is not the case, how would you go about like trying to get your foot in the door, like to be a movie
as far as music,
be musician, whatever? Like,
yeah, well, in music, I think it's many ways. I think you start with using the internet to your advantage. So whether it's following certain people and learning about people next to people. So if you're like, damn, I need to get to Kendrick, you don't try to go to Kendrick. You're like, well, let me get to somebody that can get to somebody, so I can build that relationship to get to there. Or if you're a recording artist and you're like, damn, I really want to work with this artist, you might have to invest in yourself. Well, I'm gonna record in that same studio, because I might bump into somebody and I can start this shit. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's like, well, I'm gonna get on this particular show, if I'm opening up for that show, or if I'm just doing whatever you can to get to places to talk to the people you want to, but you have to be intentional. And it's not just, man, I just need to run into people. Understand what you're doing and who you're trying to do it for, and who are the best people you're trying to meet and you're trying to network with.
So
if I'm trying to get to Mozzie, I have to look for Mozzie first. Try to be friends with him. You feel me? Like, he hella mean. He don't even be talking to me. You feel me? Like, Shelly Root talks to me sometimes.
If you trying to get to Mozzie, the person to try to get to is Dave O.
Who's J Lo?
Dave O.
Dave O.
Oh, Dave O. Okay, yeah, Dave O. He don't be talking to me, man. I'm trying to talk to him.
Shit about him in the video. Did you make a Dave O video?
Yeah.
Probably did.
No, hell no. I met Dave O. He loved me. He was cool as hell when he met me. He was loving the hell out of me, but he be hella busy.
I'm just saying that's in my opinion, that's the best way to get to Mozzie.
Dave O. All right.
That's my.
They're gonna stay on Mozzie. It's Mozzie interview. Fuck that.
Byron, if you do get that, man, respect too, man.
I'm gonna try my hardest to make sure you get
it. Him all night.
I'm gonna try my hardest to make sure you get it.
Yeah, because that's where I'll blow at. That's where I'll be number one man at Seaside. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'll blow.
You have some videos on your podcast that did stupid numbers, and I brought them up to you, and I showed you, and I put it on your Instagram. Your Facebook. You did some of that by yourself. Well, all of that by yourself. So I know you could do it again. Yeah, the Mozzie thing would be great, but you did big numbers on some of those videos that you did just talking your shit for 5 minutes.
Yep.
That's true.
Byron, you got the recipe, nigga. You just gotta cook now.
Yep.
So
for sure.
Stretch, has anybody hit you up about being like managing outside of music?
Yeah. I've worked with some people outside of it. It's just one thing I've realized is like, man, I'm good at what I'm good at. And until I'm better equipped to do the job, I'm trying to stay away from things. I'm trying to learn and do other things, but I would love to just really do a lot of stuff in TV and film, but I think there's still a lot of learning I have to do to be good on that side.
Okay.
Well, if you need practice, you can start with the Talking Spit After Hours podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what I'm here for. I'm just trying to, get my chops. I'm trying to do a late night show, Late Night with Creflo.
You can. I mean, you never hit me up about it for sure. Hell yeah, late night. Yeah, that'd be cool.
See, Byron, he just did it again, Kev. He said, you got to hit me up. Nah, bro. Nah.
You get
man, we trying to give you the game, man.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna convince Byron to get back into management. He was Seaside's only hope for a minute.
I ain't getting back into no management out here, man. I'm cool. I'm done, man. That's for you. That's too stressful. It's too stressful. I mean, like me, I like street music. Street niggas don't understand that you gotta separate the street from music. You can't be a full active gang member and rap at the same time. And that's what happened. Everybody at Seaside that tried to be a full active gang member and rap went to jail immediately. As soon as their song came out, they went to jail.
You can't blame that on just those two things, though. They were doing something stupid and moving wrong if they went to jail after the song got released.
Man,
that's what he's saying. He's saying don't do, if you rapping, too much of a target on you to be doing stuff wrong. You're gonna go to jail.
Right.
Disagree.
It's 2024. I know. I'm glad I'm not in this generation.
Yeah, they got it bad.
You cannot do 1% of this shit that niggas was doing before.
Right.
At all. Everybody be in jail.
When we were doing stupid stuff, there was no Instagram. No MySpace, no Facebook.
Nobody with no video.
Even worse, there was no Ring cameras on everybody's door.
Right.
There was none of that shit. There was no cell towers to get your location where you was when this happened. There wasn't none of that shit. It was a whole different time.
Wasn't even
and it was crazy. So I just recently got basically a live scan to get a report, my whole like criminal history report. Yep. And there was at least 20 things on there I had no idea about that they had investigated, that they had thought about charging. All of that shit comes up on there. So I advise everybody, if you've done anything in your life, get a live scan. I mean, an FBI report, and it'll show you any and everything. And you're like, oh, wow, things you might have thought you got away with, you probably didn't. They just didn't go through with it.
I got mine last year when I got my felonies explained. I'm just waiting on y'all's governor to sign my pardon. But I got my rap sheet last year, and it had on there what I thought I was going to have on there, no extra shit on there. But when you get that, like you said, some people are going to be like, man, what is this? Somebody usually.
No, I had a lot of extra shit on it, and I'm like, man. And what's funny is one time I went to Canada, and I got let in. And then the artists I was with, they were holding them at the border. So I waited. And then somebody else came and then ran my shit. And before he ran my shit, he was like, look, if you can't, if I run your shit and you can't get in, I'm kicking you out. And at the time I was literally on felony probation. So I knew it wasn't all bad because I did all the proper steps to get the actual visas to get in, and that I was supposed to get in, but this dude was a dick. So when you go to the border, it's not even up to the paperwork; it's just at the person's discretion.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what, I'm cool, bro. I'll just go back. I'm not even gonna play with these people. And he's like, nah, sit over here. So he run my shit anyway. And he's like, he's going through my record, and I'm like, man, if he looks at my shit, like I'm on felony probation, so you can just send me back right now. He's like, yeah, so you was arrested for theft of a person. I'm like, bro, what is you talking about? And he named some other crazy charge, and I'm thinking like, yeah, he's just making shit up, because obviously he could just go by what I've actually been arrested for and what I'm on probation for to send me back.
Right.
So when I get that FBI report, no, that nigga was reading actual things that was on there.
It's a trip on everything.
Yeah, I'm like, and I'd never been charged with any of these crimes that he's reading. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Wow. That's wild.
That law changed in our favor last year, that the governor, last year, and I jumped on it. I told myself the end of 2022 or beginning of 2023, I was going to do it. So I did expungement. I couldn't get mine sealed because sealing was only for if you got charged and if you got arrested and not charged. And I was like, no, I definitely got charged and convicted, so that doesn't apply to me. But as soon as the law changed, I jumped on it. But I had to get my rap sheet to start the whole process.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's wild.
A whole lot.
Well, you're a busy man, Stretch, man. We don't want to hold up any more of your time. We do appreciate you coming on, man.
Wait. One more thing, Stretch, because we got to do this. We got to. All right. So I've been hearing too a lot of stuff about the music industry and a lot of questionable stuff. And,
like Diddy shit?
Yeah, and you said in your interview that you have to protect, your job is to protect the art. The people aren't going to like you, but your job is to protect the artist. What did you have to protect? Do you have
I'm just talking. No. I've never been around. This is the thing about that shit. This is the thing that's real. Motherfuckers ain't doing what they don't want to do. So motherfuckers can give you every excuse on why they doing shit like that. That's because they want to. Because I can wholeheartedly say I've never been approached. I think certain people, they understand, like, you don't just invite yourself to shit unless you want to do it. Like, I've never done cocaine, but I've never been offered cocaine because I don't give off that let's party cocaine vibe.
Right.
But if you do cocaine, people are going to pass you cocaine, to each his own. But if you do that other shit, that's because they've heard, or you give off that vibe of doing that other shit. So when I say protect my artists, I'm talking about like financial from like bad deals. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like somebody saying, hey, I want you to do this show for $1,500 because that's my partner. And then he say, I don't want to do the show. And I got to be the bad guy to say, nah, man, he can't do the show because he don't want to tell his partner, man, I get paid $15,000. I'm not going to do your show for $1,500. That's what I meant protect. I ain't never had to protect nothing else. I ain't never been around
no button, son. Okay.
No, I ain't never. But like I said, I've never been approached by that, and I've heard stories, but every stories I've heard has been from people who have invited that. You know what I'm saying? There's probably people that's victims of things, but I don't present myself as a victim type of nigga, so I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? So if it ever, I've heard people who've been put in situations where things might have been said, and I think that people will say stuff to see how you react. But the one thing that I would say that I was even told this by somebody, they said, when just talking about as far as going farther in the industry, somebody said to me, like, the problem with you, Stretch, is that you're not people can't read you, and there's nothing they can use against you. And I mean, what do you mean by that? There's like, man, you're not scared of anything they can do to you. They can't basically frighten you with ruining your name or physically doing something to you. So like, there's really nothing. There's no way you can control me. It's either I'm either with the program and I'm on that other shit. But like, as far as the business that's at hand, or I'm not, because a lot of times in situations, let's just say they can use things when you get to a place, because it's some real shit when you see shit like what happened to Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's mad at you for something like that, they can make you look like you're crazy, or they can say this or do all this other shit. But what can you do to a real nigga? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna say that I care about? And you can't whip my ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what we gonna do here? Have a Mexican standoff at most. But there do be some shit going on, but in my opinion, it seems like it's willingly. And we have to keep it real.
There's a lot of rappers willingly giving up their ass to the industry.
But why wouldn't they? Because but this is the truth of the matter. Is there's a much higher percentage of homosexual men that are out that we don't know about. So you get into like when people say, "Oh, there's all these gay people in Atlanta." It's not that Atlanta is gay. It's the place where gay people from the South go to because it's accepted. It's not like everybody in San Francisco is gay. It's the place where gay people go to because it's accepted. So if you go to certain areas and that's what you're going to do, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has a problem with anything anybody wants to do. I don't care what nobody does. That has nothing to do with, that's not my business. And if who you love is who you love. But I think that a lot of times people blame shit on their decisions based on other things. It's just like, hey, that's what I wanted to do.
Oh,
we respect it more if niggas say, I just wanted to do that shit, nigga. Like, okay.
That's crazy.
We heard, man, you heard the same shit. We can go to the same stories in Seaside, nigga, about men doing shit that it ain't no different. Like, let's it's no different. It's just these people are famous. So you can take those same stories and apply those same things to other people, and it's literally the same shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that we personally know. Like, damn, he
wanted to do that. He for sure wanted to do that. That's why he did it.
Yeah, like niggas wasn't going to prison. Like there was probably a time in prison where people were doing that. But in 2024, if you're going to prison, you're choosing to. You're like, man, where they at? You know what I'm saying?
That's his black, bro.
Now,
whenever I see that, man, I'm like, okay, he choosing.
He wanted to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying there's probably a lot of victims, but I think there's more female victims than male victims. Let's just say that. I don't think, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of men that's just being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying?
They're willing participants.
Yeah, they're willing, or it's like this, and I'm just going to keep it real. Everybody knows certain parties you don't go to.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You don't go to, and it's just like there's parties you've been to. You know, you're not going in that bathroom. You know what I'm saying? They might be doing a drug you don't do. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking down on it. But if we're at the club and I'm in the bathroom for an hour, nigga, what can I tell you besides I was doing powder in the bathroom? Oh, I didn't know, bro. I just went in there to piss. Nigga, yeah, we just in there for an hour. What the fuck was you doing? Yeah, like I said, I'm not mad at anything anybody does, but shit, motherfuckers just need to be able to stand on what they doing. Cause ain't nothing wrong with it. That's how they feel. That's how they feel. But I've never had to protect nobody on no shit like that.
Yeah. You ever run across that nigga Whack 100?
I met him probably 4 or 5 years ago. Not since some of the shit he's been saying, but. Anybody who knows Whack is like Whack is Whack. Like he's very good at getting content. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And what's funny to me was hearing that whole shit that happened is like you can't put certain people in a conversation with people that do this shit. And Whack does that shit. So dude got ate up because he was out of his comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the person to do that with. You better have everything in order. You would have all your things, all your facts in line. You know what I'm saying? Because he'll take some truths and twist it for the audience, and then you end up looking crazy. And that's exactly what happened.
No, that didn't happen.
But also I just feel as if like I don't understand why people are mad that Seaside isn't as violent as it used to be. I would think that you would want to be happy because we all grown and most people have kids. Like, why would you want your kids to grow up in the shit that we seen?
Well, I feel like it was like some gatekeeper hater mood. You know, you see me talking about Seaside, and then you throw some subliminals in there about Seaside. Like I feel like everybody in LA don't like nobody outside of LA. You know what I mean? Like they always got. But
he's not from LA. But let me tell you this: as somebody that lives in LA, it's not that. It's that if I'm from Pacoima. I'm worried about Pacoima. If I'm from Compton, I'm worried about Compton. If I'm from Watts, I'm worried about Watts, and so on and so forth. It's a lot more segregated than we know. Because we look at it, when we think of LA, we're talking about the whole county. You know what I'm saying? But Long Beach to Venice is pretty far. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different things going on, from different gangs to different cars to different all kind of shit that you know what I'm saying, we wouldn't look into, because we would assume like, oh man, they tripping or they hating. It ain't that. It's just that everybody that I've ever met that know anything about Seaside is from two places: either prison
The
or the military.
penitentiary.
Yeah, it's either prison or the military. You know what I'm saying? Or they have family, which is not a good thing. So my point is like, Seaside is a much better place than it was before as far as violence. And to be mad at that is crazy. Like, why do we, like, the fact that we, and I'm gonna keep it real, as somebody who has been there, a lot of the people that are acting like that, they weren't there. They weren't doing none of that shit. They wasn't involved in none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing can't nobody tell me is about none of that shit from Seaside. You can't even act like I don't know. So we can't even play that game. But the point is like, somebody who has lost a lot on just from life to friends to time to energy to money on just all that bullshit, and to see how many families have been fucked up by it. If you've been through it and you've seen it, you wouldn't want that. You would be happy where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't seen their mama, they haven't seen their partner's mama crying because their son is dead. They haven't seen their partner crying because he got life. You know what I'm saying? They haven't seen that. They haven't had to give money to their partner's son because they're no longer here. You know what I'm saying? Or I've seen so many young people ruin their lives on mistakes that because they thought it was a game, until they actually do hit somebody. And now they're in jail for a long period of time, or they kill somebody and they're never getting out of jail. But the point is like, I know why everything was the way it was, and I know where it got fucked up, and it started and it got fucked up over lies anyway. So when you realize what we went through and how fucked up we were for the wrong reasons, there should be nobody that wants it to be back that way. We should not want to have the murder capital or have more murders than anybody or none of that shit, bro. We should want to have the squarest, softest city in the world of real smart individuals that's raising their family. But you ain't got to be a bitch to not kill nobody.
Right.
Great point.
So you rather chose to ignore Whack 100 than go at him on a podcast about Seaside. You rather just ignore him?
But how could, that's like, bro, that's like if a nigga say that I'm a bitch. I know I'm not a bitch. I'm not mad at that, nigga. You just saying stuff. You know what I'm saying? If somebody says that to my face, then the only reason why I'm tripping, the only reason why I'm reacting is because I don't want this person thinking they could do something to me. That's something different. But this is 2024. There's a lot of things that said on the internet, and you can't be mad at the internet, and you can't be mad at lies, the truth, or partial truths. What Wax said was partial truths and lies. You know what I'm saying? But the point is like, that whole conversation was based off of how hard Seaside is. And all of this shit. And yeah, there might have been a time where it was, but I personally feel like the reason why it's not is because people have been smarter and people have made better decisions. It ain't got nothing to do with how hard or how soft somebody is. Like, we were literally killing our friends and family. Like, Seaside was 30,000 people. When that shit happened, nigga, people who we were friends with one day, we are now shooting at the next day. That is insane. Like, everybody who's going through it, niggas who I'm beefing with, my mom is at their mama house. Think about that. Like, that is just dumb. We know where each other lives. We're laying in each other's yards. That is insane. That doesn't make any sense. So to be mad that we're not at that anymore that's just what I don't get. Because the Seaside that I was born and raised in was about making money. You know what I'm saying? And it was about a whole bunch of other stuff. Then it became another element that unfortunately put a dark cloud over the place for a decent amount of time. And now that we got out of that, we shouldn't be glorifying or even promoting that shit. That's why you don't ever hear me promoting none of that shit at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to try to tell these niggas, y'all tripping. And there's not one nigga in Seaside that can tell me anything about that, because everything we've been through, nigga, either you was with me on the side of me doing it, or we was doing at it with each other. So there's a mutual respect. But a lot of these niggas were doing none of that. They weren't doing any of that. So that's the problem I have, because I've seen a lot of people leading youngsters down the wrong path and got a whole generation after ours doing shit they shouldn't have been doing because they were listening to niggas who they thought was doing it. And then they find out the hard way when you sitting there doing life like, oh shit, that nigga wasn't doing that. He had me do what? Oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people kids. This is also people's fathers. So I just think we need to do a better job of saying like, man, who cares what a nigga say about a nigga online say about what Seaside is or isn't? You feel me?
Okay.
That shouldn't be no issue. Not to me.
Not to any.
If a nigga imagine a nigga tell you ain't been on no podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I mean I argue with niggas all the time on YouTube about everything, man. Shit, I mean, they ain't told me everything in the book, man. Shit.
Yeah, but that's the thing is one thing I know as somebody who's, you know, happy to be 47, about to be 48 years old is don't nobody care about our shit, just like we don't care about their shit.
Right.
So it's not me to make them care about it. It's our job to make sure that we do what's best for our people. You know what I'm saying? We do what's best for our community. We build our shit up because the goal is to make money and educate our kids and you know, have land and businesses and all this other shit. It's not to be the nigga that got the most kills. This ain't a video game. You know what I'm saying?
What's your KDR, Cass?
Yeah, it's like, bro, this shit is. I mean, because I see this shit and it's literally, and I'm gonna keep it 100% real. This shit is not how it was, and niggas should be glad. Niggas should be 100% happy, 1000% happy. Because one thing I know is if the type of weapons these niggas have now, it would have been a real problem back then, and I'm glad it wasn't. Yeah, because like I said, I mean, shit, I didn't seen a lot of shit, and I didn't been in a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? That could have, by the grace of God, could have been a lot worse. I didn't see football games get ruined. I just say that. You feel what I'm saying? So my point is, there's a lot of things, you know what I'm saying, that we have to understand that we don't want to go back to. So why are we glamorizing or promoting that shit when nobody wants to be in jail, nobody wants to be dead, bro. Nobody does.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Game.
So it's your job, Byron, to educate these youngsters. Job. No, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna keep it real. No, I'm gonna keep it 100% real. You be giving niggas passes, Byron. You don't tell the truth to say that nigga never did that. That nigga was not off the porch. That nigga never shot nothing. That nigga never did none of that shit that he's acting like it. And you're letting a lot of young people get led away. Now, maybe you don't want to be a hater. It could be that, but how are you hating if you're saving kids?
Byron want to be cool.
I tell them, nah, that's true, but you don't understand it. I tell the youngsters all the time what niggas did and what they didn't do all the time. You know, they don't even care about older folks no more. All they care about is themselves and the gun. They ain't listening to no older niggas out here.
Yeah, they are. You know, come on now.
Oh,
not like
man,
what I'm
saying.
Listen
to you, but they ain't listening to a lot of older niggas out here that, you know, they don't care about these older niggas at all. Period.
I'm talking about a reputation to live up to in Seaside.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about that. Not like, hey, nigga, go shoot that. Like, nigga, we would have did this. Y'all letting this happen. I don't know what y'all doing. Because probably gonna get a motherfucker like this. Oh, that nigga said what? Nigga, I'm gonna knock that nigga head off right now. We putting kids in that type of situation because they thinking this was the Wild Wild West and every nigga in Seaside was running around popping everybody. You know what I'm saying? When we know that wasn't the truth. Nigga, I tell you, it's probably 4 people against 4 people and about 400 on each side that was just there, nigga. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But when it come down to it, you know what I'm saying? It was 4 people against 4 people that was doing dumb shit to each other. And there was a lot of people that ended up being victims. But the point is we are past that. And I hate to see people bringing up narratives and even bringing up old shit, old gangs. This shit should be over. Niggas should not even be naming some of this shit no more at all. In any way whatsoever.
At all.
They should not. At all.
Mm-mm.
So you're not a fan of the new mob?
I don't even know what that is, man. What is the new mob? Explain to me what the new mob is.
Oh, wow. There's such thing as that?
Yeah, I didn't know.
I mean, the new mob is the new mob, you know, 1700, 12. That's the new mob. They changed the mob.
Well, I'll say this. I understand where these things come from, and I can't. There's nothing I can say bad about any of that because you know what I'm saying? There's everybody's responsible for things that they contribute to, positive or negative, right?
Right.
But I'm not tripping off of any of that stuff and don't think there's, and I know that things evolve and people gravitate towards. But I also understand that a lot of those times is based off of pain that they might have. So maybe they cousin, they brother, they daddy was a part of something.
Their dad, yeah,
exactly.
you know?
Yeah, but my problem is some of their dads was bitches. I'm gonna keep it real.
The kids don't even know that either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and they don't know that. And I'm not coming from the perspective as I'm the hardest nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's about, but I'm a nigga who's seen it all. And I know who was what, and I know who wasn't. I know who niggas were scared of, and I know who niggas laughed at. You feel what I'm saying? So if people laughed at you, don't put your son in a situation to go to jail for something that you was laughed at about. That's all I'm saying. Like, I played basketball. I was never the best basketball player. So if I come on here and try to tell my son, nigga, I'm telling you, I was the best in Monterey High, nigga, I was this, I was that, I'd be doing him a disservice because that's just not true. You see what I'm saying? That's just not true. I played basketball. I was not a great basketball player. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is, people who really did that shit are dead and in jail. That's literally it. There was no in between.
Right.
There's nobody who's really, really doing anything like that that is not dead or has done a decent amount of time. There's probably one person I can think of that's lucky enough to not. But the truth of the matter is that shit does not work like that. And I think that if we're telling our kids and these youngsters the real, it's like, yeah, you could be a gangster, but you're gonna go to jail. What do you mean? You're going to go to jail and you're going to get shot. What do you mean? Yeah, don't worry. Well, if that's what you want to do, we're gonna make sure we got your health insurance, your life insurance. We're gonna put this money away for the lawyer. Oh yeah, you're going to jail, and we're gonna get you a bail bond. We're gonna do this right. That's what we're gonna do. If that's what you're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. Don't make it seem like we're gonna get money and fuck bitches.
I'm saying that's why I told all my rappers too. I mean, you can be a rapper or you can be a gangster and go to jail. They still chose the gangster route. So why would I just keep putting money into everybody that chose the gangster route? Like, you know, they still got to live in Seaside High.
Everybody ain't rapping, ain't gangsters. There's a lot of people that's just rapping, but you don't want to hear that. That's on you.
No, I don't hear. I don't hear that philosophy, hypocrisy, and shit. I don't hear that shit, man.
But
I don't hear about bitch getting fucked and doing some dope.
If J. Cole met you, you would have been like, I ain't fucking with that shit.
Hell nah.
If Kendrick Lamar met you, you'd have been like, man, what kind of shit is that?
No, I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan. I like Section 8. I like the Section 8. I like them since Section 8 album. He's a good artist. He used to rap. He still raps good. He's just a little bit weird to me now.
Yeah, but you was more on Schoolboy Q because he said cuz.
No, I didn't really like Schoolboy. I wasn't really a Schoolboy Q fan like that. I really like Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, so like let's talk about you, Byron. You know, that's what about you. Like your name, Siren Prefalo. You don't think that's gang influence and that you know perpetuates something to these young niggas?
Yeah, I think it's gang influence. Yeah, I do think it's that. I mean, but I'm not here to model and help the kids, man. You can be the model, but I ain't trying to help the kids, man. I don't keep it real. I ain't trying to help the kids.
But how is this helping you?
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
How's this helping me? This is like therapy to me, you know. I mean, but and make people laugh. But I mean, trying to be a role model and try to help the kids, man. I don't want to go up to that podium like that. No.
At least you acknowledging it.
But you're funny regardless. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm trying to do is I don't try to talk about, I don't try talking about a kid being violent or they need to do this, they need to do that. Like, I try to like change a different perspective of how I do things. But at the end of the day, like, I don't be trying to like tell the kids, go to school, man, get a college degree. Like, I don't be trying to be like that.
No, not that. But I'm just saying if we're steering kids, steering kids towards being Crips. How does that help us, man? For real.
You don't.
Okay, look, this my case in point, right?
Right.
You know why I'm gonna tell you the reason why I love the whole Man family is because, Titan's brother had street elements and he did a lot of shit, but what they always did, they stayed in school, they did the things they were supposed to do, and they were around everybody. But I never see Ty running around talking about he a Crip. He'll say cousin all that because that's where we're from. Allen the same way. So what I'm saying is why I don't feel like a lot of these kids have that opportunity. Because I feel like when I was coming up, there was always it didn't make you no different if that's not what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? We all kicked it together, regardless of what that was. I just feel like now there's a lot more pressure to be a part of something. Definitely. And I say that you can contribute to that with your name.
So I'm contributing. I'm contributing to the kids in the Seaside becoming Crips.
Honestly, yeah.
It might be true.
Creflo, nigga.
Creflo, the Crip only get Crip. Hey, that might be true.
Just take the loc out. Just put silent Creflo, nigga. Just take the loc out.
Byron Creflo.
Because now you're showing unity. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Okay, I just noticed.
C and the B. You feel me?
Yeah.
I just got the siren now. That is Byron with the C.
Yeah.
It wasn't the loc. Okay. It wasn't the loc. It was the siren.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
hey,
God.
you know who gave me that name? Who gave me that name was my homie that died. They gave me those names. That's why I keep that name because he got killed. You know, back in 2015.
And honestly, those are two people. Those are two people that really just sum up everything I said. You know what I'm saying? It's jail for a long time. And passed based off of bullshit. They are direct influence of the bullshit we did because of what they seen and how they thought things were supposed to be. That's how I feel. I feel responsibility for a lot of that shit because honestly, as somebody like I raised, you know what I'm saying? That's not my son, but I've known him since his whole life. And the things that I've seen in him and the issues he's been dealing with the whole time is what he's seen and how he think things were supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? And it's fucked up because no matter what conversation I have with him, he also knows me. So I can say like, man, you tripping. And he like, nigga, you would have did the same shit. You feel what I'm saying? And it's fucked up and it's true, but it shouldn't be. But the problem for me is not that generation, it's the next generation. Because now we're at the next generation. You see what I'm saying? And it was only so many. A lot of these other niggas wasn't doing nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And those are the ones. I'm not even talking about niggas your age. I'm not for sure not talking about niggas my age. I'm talking about the niggas that is 25 and 28 now. You see what I'm saying? And how they influence these niggas is 14.
Right.
Those are the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about because like you said, they ain't listening to older niggas, but it's also different. You know what I'm saying? It was a different time. But now we find ourselves in a whole different type of situation that these niggas is in. And they're not going against their friends. They're going against other people. You know what I'm saying? And it can turn into something really bad, really quick over people expected to do things that weren't really happening for the people before them. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
The results of that were fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Were really fucked up. I know I talk to once a week. I know where he's at and I know what he's dealing with by being in jail. And I know what he's been through, but I also understand how he got to that point is because he's seen a lot of shit firsthand from a baby to where he is. So in his mind, this is how things are supposed to be. There's a lot of people that didn't go through that and it shouldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying? And even everything he's going through and everything he's been through, it still should be a learning lesson. It still should be a learning lesson for everybody because that's not the route that anybody would say they want to go. And he, in my opinion, is probably one of the most talented rappers that ever come out of Seaside. But the problem is the streets. You know what I'm saying? The streets are real and they're really unforgiving. And they're undefeated, the street. My partner Kwame from Oakland always say the streets is undefeated. They have not lost a single round, nigga. The streets have never lost, and they're not going to. So Byron Creflo sounds like a good name, my brother. Let me step off my soapbox now. I'm done.
Yeah, man, you got me feeling bad being a Crip now, man. Damn.
Checkmate.
I wouldn't see. It's not about you being bad about being a Crip. I just want people to feel bad about making new Crips.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh wow, that's a great point.
Yeah,
well, I do want to thank you for this interview. I appreciate you that you did come and do the interview like you said, and this was a really great interview.
Hey man, we're gonna have to stop this narrative about what Stretch don't do for Seaside. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta stop acting like y'all don't really know me about like this is really fucked up. When we think about it, y'all really know me, so don't act surprised that I'm not acting new. Like that's kind of fucked up when you think about it. That you're literally thanking me for doing shit I should do. Let's start there. Like you can't have no stories about buying weed from me and all this other shit, and then be like, man, I really appreciate you coming on this show. Like, nigga, we know each other, nigga. This nigga that slept in my house many a times, nigga. Like, what are we doing? Like, is that the expectations of me? Is that what niggas think of me?
Man, that's what niggas think of you, man. I'm dead serious, man.
Come on, man.
We can't reach Stretch, man. We can't find Stretch. Stretch is with 24K in Idaho somewhere. Like, you feel me? Like, that's how people be feeling.
Yeah, okay. I feel that, but that's how y'all feel?
That's how niggas feel in Seaside. I'm trying to tell you, man. I had multiple people tell me to ask the question.
The last time niggas
I mean, actually, is it people that I actually know?
Man, from old to young.
Yeah, but there's a difference from old to young because there's a lot of old people who I didn't fuck with. Y'all know me. I did not fuck with everybody. Right. I did not. I was like, if anybody who knows me is around me, that was a nigga that was spent a lot of time by himself. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't speak a lot to people. I wasn't that nigga that was kicking it with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see me with Matt, Manny, Quincy. Those are the people you see me with. It wasn't a lot of other extra mingling. So can't nobody be mad at me because I didn't fuck with you before. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't fuck with you before, I'm supposed to fuck with you now? And that's not even a bad thing. But I'm saying with y'all, I fucked with y'all. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you always fuck with me hella tough all the time. So I ain't never had a problem to say you never fuck with me. I never said it. Don't think that I'm saying it. You fuck with me.
You lumping all of us in there, nigga, like that ain't
everybody said they can't see you talk to Stretch.
Yeah, see, that's what it is. Byron ain't gonna keep it real. He was letting the outside chatter get to him.
What are you talking about? What did I say? What did I say?
No, so you let the outside chatter get to him. You thought I wasn't gonna come on here because you like, man, all right. You know that nigga don't do nothing for Seaside.
I thought you did. For real, I thought you did fake. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, you know, but I didn't think you was gonna fake for a long time because you know you don't never lie to me. You know, you never lied to me in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. I ain't gonna do that, but we all human. I did, Cat.
But you never lied. You never lied to me in life, so I trust your word because you never lied to me. That's real shit.
I ain't got no reason to lie to anybody. Shit. I learned this a long time ago. It's a theory called fail fast. That means you get it over with so you can learn from it. So I don't need to prolong nothing. I don't need to keep nothing from you. If I don't fuck with it, I don't fuck with it. If it's something that's not working, you want to fail fast because you can't fix it if it doesn't actually fail. So it's just like the car. If you're working on that car, until you put it on the road, you don't know if that engine works. You want to find out real fast. So
most definitely. Well,
yeah, Jules from Stretch. You can put that in quote.
Stretch. Thank you for your time, man. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being on. Thanks for fucking.
Can I make a request for guests I think that should be on your show too?
Oh, please do.
I don't know yet, but I'm gonna think about some people because I think there's a lot of people that can contribute to a lot of these conversations because you guys do a really good job. And the agitator, you know, he does a good job of playing his role.
Agitating.
Change your name to that.
The agitator.
Yeah, and it took y'all long enough to finally get a female element because it was getting real boys clubsy for a minute. Y'all needed a female element. I'm glad y'all did that.
We tried to
on us after one episode, so that's when we had to ask Kenya. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad she's consistent. You know, shoot, appreciate it.
That was a good episode too.
Sports is not really my thing because I don't watch it. But anything else, I'm with the conversation.
But Kenya's
matter of fact, On that episode too, Titan, you always were you really think, and on the Ralph episode, what's Ralph's name now? Wolf
Council.
Oh, Wolf
Council.
Wolf Council.
Wolf.
Yeah, you really got this. You really want to know the inner workings of Hollywood and how bad it gets.
Yeah, man, because I keep hearing all this.
He stay on that Illuminati shit.
Hey, man, I want to know who really runs the world.
You know who runs the world? The people with money. It's all about the money.
There you go. Then I need to be.
That's all it comes down to. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
All right,
Byron, I would love to see you, you know what I'm saying, dedicate your life to the upliftment of the Black community in Seaside and getting these brothers to a place of atonement and understanding we can be better as one and come together, make Black and Brown the unity that it deserves to be.
Oh, God.
Why I gotta be shot by some white person preaching this shit, man? Like, why can't I, you know what I'm saying? Like,
see, that's where you fucked up at. No. That's where you fucked up at. It's never the white person. They always get a nigga to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The nigga that's
what happened to Malcolm X? What happened to Huey P? It wasn't no white man.
That's true.
And it's always the nigga right next to you.
All right. Thank y'all, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure. All right, let's roll it up. And
wait, I know who you need on here. I know y'all need.
Who's that?
I'm gonna hit you about it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, y'all.
All right, Stretch, man. Love. And thank you guys once again for listening to Talking Special Powers. We're your host, TJ Bay, Cyril Cleflo, who I guess just got off because
he trying to be cool like Stretch.
Yeah, he's all nigga. He off, I'm off, nigga. Like, all right then. Kenya Cox. Hey, if you like it, you like it. If you love it, you love it. Thanks, Seaside Stretch, once again. Hey, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. A lot of game was being given, and I know everyone's ready to get off now. So, love, peace, and God bless.
See you next week.